I don't know. I'd say I'm reasonable.
Okay, that's completely unreasonable.
I'm reasonable.
I'm unreasonable.
You have no idea just how reasonable I have been.
Reasonable synonyms are sensible, rational, practical, fair, appropriate.
Fitting, suitable, logical.
All things I would definitely say describe me.
Do they describe you?
Welcome to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson.
I'm reasonable.
Okay. Yes, I am reasonable. Welcome to another episode of I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I am Zainab Johnson. Thank you so much for tuning in. On a scale from, well, I am how I am, to, okay, I hear you. Thank you so much for sharing that with me, and I will be mindful of this being a trigger for you. How reasonable have we been this week? Okay, so on today's episode, we will be discussing some really quick trial updates, the Diddy trial, of course, and the Idaho 4 killer, I believe his name is Brian Coberger. We will discuss that very briefly, and then the main topic is Brandy and Monica and Kelly Rowland. Yes, we're going to talk about it. But first, let's talk about where you guys have seen me, where you can see me. Thank you so much to everybody that's come out to the shows the past couple of weekends, San Francisco, Baltimore, this most recent past weekend, Tampa, Florida. Thank you so much. Now, I know y'all was like, oh, okay, so you're not going to go live on Sunday? You know, somebody, I'm not going to say her name, but you know who you are. And I believe your name has 4 letters. It can be spelled with 3 or 4 letters. I just want you to know I know exactly who you are. And I remember you. She came to me and she was like, let me tell you something. She was like, I just love everything you do. I'm paraphrasing. I don't want her to be at home like, girl, I did not say that. She was like, I appreciate everything you do. And you are working so much, which we love for you. But don't feel like you got to do the live. Like, we love a good Wednesday episode, a taped Wednesday episode. This like 90 minutes. We just love that. Don't feel like you. Now, here's the thing. I heard her say like an hour and a half. And I was like, is she trying to say like, listen, if we got to choose between you, because I know on the live, I was like, I'm going to come back on Wednesdays and tape it, but I'm going to try and stick to 30 minutes. So was that her way of being like, listen, if we can only get one thing, can you give us a good, robust 90-minute Wednesday episode? But she was like, you do not have to do the lives. Like, we appreciate it. We tune in. We enjoy them. But if you have to choose one or the other, my choice is Wednesday. And I, in the moment, really I appreciate it, period. But I do be rather tired. And I do want to give you guys as much as I can. But I also, want to have the freedom to like not give too much, And when I got home very early that Sunday morning, and I thought about it because I told mad people that was at the show. I told so many of the reasons, you know what I'm saying, that was at the show. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go live on Sunday. We're gonna talk about Monica. We're gonna talk about Monica and Brandy's tour. And they was like, okay. I'll see you on Sunday. I'll see you on the live on Sunday. And I did not go live. But let me just tell you, the way I slept, the way I got in my house and drank some water, had a ginger kombucha. Although I had some really good kombucha in Tampa. I was quite pleasantly surprised. I had some really great locally brewed kombucha in Tampa, Florida. But the way I got home and had me a ginger kombucha, made myself a good old breakfast. I'm talking about scrambled eggs, you know what I'm saying, with all the seasoning, the mushrooms, the spinach, some veggie sausage, you get what I'm saying, some toasted like raisin English, the way I was so satisfied. I actually can make my breakfast way better than anybody can make it like in a restaurant. And so I think I'm just, when I'm on the road, I think I'm going to just do, because it's like I make my eggs perfect for me. I don't love eggs. I'm really funny with eggs. I send eggs back a lot of times, but I try to pre-warn them like, listen, if that egg even move a little bit, I ain't gonna, if that egg even look a little bit slimy, I ain't gonna be able to do it. So it's rare that people, I think sometimes they give you too much egg or too little egg, or it's like, did you put milk and cream in these eggs? Why would you put milk and cream in the eggs? You put mayonnaise? You trying to kill me now. You are literally trying to kill. But it's vegan. Do you think I give a flying French fry? But when I be eating my eggs at home, I be like, Zainab, why would you ever eat this outside of your house? When you know the only person that make eggs the way you like them is you, your sister, and your mama. And I need to stick to it. Anyway, the way I made that breakfast and then the way I laid on that couch and turned on like a new show that my friend is on and fell asleep, no shade to the show. The show was, I woke back up and watched it. But the way I just lounged around my house and it felt so good. So I am going to still be doing the lives because I really do actually like doing them with you. I like a little bit of interaction and back and forth. I really do like that. And it is supposed to be a bit more casual. But I appreciated, a fan and a reason and just someone who is also thinking about who appreciates my talent and what I'm trying to contribute. And also saying but it's okay. It's okay. You ain't got to do too much. You know what I'm saying? We love what you do, but never feel like you got to do too much. And so I received that word. Now, with that said, you will not get an episode. You will not get a live from me this Sunday, and you will not get an episode from me next week. And I don't believe will get a live from me the following week. I'm not sure. It depends on, I don't believe you will. And it's because I will be traveling. I will be on vacation. I will be traveling with my family to see my family first. Then I will be on vacation. And then I'll be doing shows. I'll be doing shows in Jersey, and I don't believe I'll have time. I think I'll be traveling back. I think I have a heavy travel day on Sunday coming back after my show. So let's get into where you can see me perform next. July 11th and 12th, I will be in Rutherford, New Jersey. That is the Bergen County area, Hasbrook Heights, Hackensack, Passaic, Meadowlands. July 11th and 12th, Rutherford, I don't know how you say that, New Jersey. So if you're in New Jersey and you were like, dang, I don't want to have to come through the tunnel or across the bridge to see you in New York, come to the Jersey shows July 11th and 12th. It's at a club called Bananas, which, but whatever. Come see me. It'll be a fun time. I'll have my friend Sydney Washington opening for me. And if you've ever been to a show, if you know who Sydney Washington is, she's very funny. But also, that's my girl. You know how Kiki said, it's your girl. Sydney is, that's my girl. Then the following weekend, July 18th and 19th, I will be in Stamford, Connecticut at the New York Comedy Club located in Stamford, Connecticut. That is July 18th and 19th. Then I'm heading across the pond to London town. July 21st through the 26th, I will be doing my 100% crowd work shows. That means I have 5 or 6 shows in London at the Soho Theater, but they will be all improvised, all crowd work. So come have fun, be a part of the show. It's going to be a good time. Make sure you get those tickets. And then I think Scotland will have me. Scotland will have me for the foreseeable future. I will be in Scotland at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, July 30th through August 24th. Okay, I will be doing 26 straight nights running my hour in Edinburgh, Scotland at the Fringe Festival. And so if you will be visiting the festival, visiting Scotland, if you are in the UK and want to, make a trip, then please come see me. I would love to see what audiences Scotland has to offer me. And then, of course, I have fall dates, which are in the details of this podcast: Seattle, Portland, Philadelphia, Boston, Washington, D.C., D.C., West Nyack, Cleveland, Houston, Detroit, Addison, and Dayton, the Cincinnati area. Those specific dates can be found in the details of this podcast, along with the link to purchase tickets. While I have you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you are new, welcome. If you've been here a bunch and you ain't subscribed yet, what you waiting for? Okay. Hit the like button if you like it. Share it if you want somebody else to know me. I love it. Like, somebody actually just sent me a message. A supporter who comes to a good amount of my live shows, and he sends me messages on Instagram. He said, okay, so every time I introduce your comedy to my female friends, their first response has consistently been, ooh, she's pretty. My straight female friends, gay female friends, grown nieces, and other relatives. Then they check out your comedy and realize that I'm not capping for you just because you're pretty. You're funny, you're smart, and you're insightful, and would easily be someone they would want to befriend. Then he says, y'all black women are too much. And then I responded, too much or perfectly enough. Thanks for spreading the word. And so I really do appreciate it. I feel like word of mouth goes a long way. Like, I know sometimes when I talk about things that I've experienced online, you guys are more inclined to participate, or check it out. Even if I'm saying I hated it, you like, I got to go see what she hated. Let me see if she was being reasonable or not, right? So thank you. Spread the word about my shows, about this show, about this podcast, so that I'm motivated to keep doing it, okay? All right. What's up with Z? What's up with me? Let's see. Okay. So I do actually want to ask you guys a question. When you go to see a comedy show or music show, because we're going to talk about concerts in a second, but any sort of live show that has like a headliner and opening acts, do you like when the opening acts are very similar to the headlining artist? Or do you prefer if they are very different, or are you indifferent? Now, there's a little bit of caveat into the very different, because I like when the acts are kind of different, because it's like, oh, this is like a diverse show. And I don't mean like in age or ethnic makeup or gender or whatever, although that could be, that could exist in the show as well. But I just mean like, if I go to see Dave Chappelle, for example, who is a very funny, thought-provoking, sort of superstar comedian, right? But if he had somebody that was opening for him that was like a one-liner comic, I think I would enjoy that. Or if he had somebody that did like a bunch of act outs, that's very different than him, although he does some acting out and some impressions. But I think he does it like me, like in an interest in conveying like the story or the joke. But he ain't just getting up like, okay, y'all ready for like my Denzel impression? Okay, y'all, this is an impression of, this is an impression of Michael Jackson at the post office. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's not doing impersonations like that. So I think I would enjoy that show in the same way that I could enjoy 3 really insightful, smart, funny, introspective, storytelling comedians, as long as they're not telling the same story, right? But I realized that when I go to different cities, I'm probably going to change this soon. And I have to like write this down and like pray about it and manifest it and do all that sort of like spiritual work around it. But inshallah, this is what I'm wanting for my future shows. I'm wanting to have artists that open for me that are congruent to my show. Sometimes I work with comedians, and I'm not trying to put any comedian down, and I'm not trying to say like I'm smart and they dumb. No. But I do have a very hard time working with a comedian that does hacky material and or plays to the lowest common stereotype, especially if that low stereotype punches down on Black people, Black women, minority groups, gay people, Muslim, you know what I'm saying? Anybody that is one at the intersections of my identities, but also the surround, like any marginalized group. And don't get me wrong, if you saying, like, I'm also not trying to hear, you know what I'm saying? You know, this comedian, when she would go up, I would be so disappointed. I would be so disappointed in her every time she went up, because she would tell this joke about she went on a date with a white guy and he let her get appetizers. And the comparison was like, this is what you get when you date a white guy versus like dating a Black guy. Yo, when I used to see that, and obviously I'm not doing a joke, I'm not really going to do the bit verbatim, because one, I don't know it. Two, I don't let bits like that really come out of my mouth. But also three, I don't want y'all being netizens and trying kind of search and guess like what comedian I'm talking about. But I know every time I used to see it, I used to be like, what? And so I have a very hard time. This ain't about that comedian, but this is about the comedians. Like, I'm noticing something when I'm on the road. And of course I get to these cities and, you know, it might be these local comedians and they may not have been doing it for very long and, you know, whatever. But I always feel like, you know, the one joke that I felt like was brilliant, but also hack that I did, but Wanda Sykes got that out of my system real quick, was the, why you don't want to rate me joke, right? You got to go back and watch an interview or something that I did where I did an interview with Touré, and I think I explored why I don't tell that joke and why Wanda Sykes was like, very early in my career, you are better than that. You better than that. So if I did an interview promoting Hijabs Off like a year ago or maybe a year and a half ago at this point, whenever it came out, with Touré, who is a journalist, a media personality. And if you want to know what joke I'm talking, you have to go watch that interview. But I just get I'd rather, like, of course, so the point of the openers are to really get the crowd laughing, get the crowd in the mood, to sort of get the crowd ready for the headliner, right? But I want them to be funny. I want them to put on a good show. I want my audience to come, however long the show is, 90 minutes, 2 hours. I want them to feel like the entire thing was a good show. I feel best when my audience comes to me and says, you were very funny, and oh my God, I loved Sydney and I loved Amina, and thank you so much for bringing out Yamanika, and you know, and this person, oh wow, I loved this person who opened for you. Like, I really prefer those sort of interactions versus people kind of like wondering when they see my opening acts, are they at the wrong show? Like, wait, this material is incongruent with Zainab's act and everything about Zainab's brand, what she puts out there. Is it the right night? Is it the right show? Did she choose this person? Or did you know what I'm saying? I found myself, no shade to anybody. Don't try and figure it out. Don't do that. But because I can get so, you don't see it on me, but I can get so like emotional or disheartened. That's a better word. I can get so disheartened by certain things. So like, if I'm working with a comedian that says things that punch down the lowest possible hacky stereotypes of Black women. So that first right there is insult to me, right? Truly, like, it's just insult. Not to me personally, but just it's like insult, right? And then when the Black women in the crowd laugh at the joke, that's the injury. You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa, whatever. That's the injury, and then that's the insult to the injury. You know what I'm saying? And so I get up on stage and I got to decide, do I curse the comedian out? Do I curse the crowd out? Or do I just pretend like it didn't happen and get to my set? There's a part of me that would prefer, as I said, I prefer people to just be funny and just add to the show. Like, I remember when I was a feature, I've not really hosted that much, but when I did host, like, I'm a really great host because I understand the job and the role of a host. But when I featured the little bit, the small amount of time, because I did advance from feature to headliner rather quickly. But when I did feature for Jimmy Schubert and for Keith Robinson, my job was to make it so that the audience was ready for my job was in service of them on the stage. My job was in service of them to get up there and make their job easier. Make it so the crowd is feeling good, laughing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not stepping on any of their jokes. I'm not doing anything that sort of conflicts with what they're about to. That was my job, and I understood that. Y'all know I be saying all the time, like, I ain't had many like regular jobs or corporate jobs or like, whatever. But I imagine if I did, I would probably be good at my job because I know how to do job. My job is a feature. I try to do a good job as a headliner. And there's a lot of things that go into headlining. You have to be able to fill an hour of time. That is the time in the show where they drop the checks. So that means I have to be able to still maintain the audience's attention while the waiters are putting down, oh, you owe us this amount of money. And that's traditionally how most clubs still do it. Unless you're at like the Comedy Cellar in New York where they're like, nope, we're going to wait till the show is over. And then everybody will not leave after the show is over and they'll have to pay their bill and the bills will not affect the comedians on stage. But anywhere else, you have to be able to maintain the audience's attention while they're completely distracted by a payment request. You also have to navigate what's happening in the room. You got to make people feel like it was worth coming out to see you. It's so many things. You got to try to put butts in the seat. You got to make the club feel like they didn't regret or it wasn't a loss booking you. It's so many things that are on the shoulder of the headliner. So at the very least, I just want to make it so that my show, that it's a lead up, that it's not a stray away, that it's a lead up to the main event. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this act and this act, they go right there leading up. You on the road to Zainab. But some acts, they get on stage and it be like, yeah, I think we did a detour. I'm be honest with you. I think we are lost. And my phone is dead and I ain't got no maps and the tank is on E. So unless Zainab pull up with a truck and we gonna die on the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was so dramatic, but also a rather great analogy. Improvised, which is why you got to come to my crowd work shows, because I like to do my planned material and my written material, but I'm also pretty good at crowd work. So yeah. So I don't know. You guys tell me. Is it a reasonable expectation to, I don't know, at least want comedians that I work with to, and I don't want to have to say like, don't do this, don't do that, because it's like your whole set is hacky. Your whole set. No shade. Respectfully, it's so funny. Y'all be coming up to me. I know when y'all listen to the podcast, because y'all come up to me at the shows and be like, blah, 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 respectfully. I'm like, oh, okay. And there are reasons. Or do you guys think that it don't matter? And I don't know. Y'all let me know what it is that you prefer when you're seeing a live show. And I mean, this could go for like, obviously I'm not a musician, but this could go for like, music as well. Like, if you were going to see, I don't know, if you were going to see Kendrick Lamar, would you prefer did another artist like him be open? Like, would you prefer that, like, oh, the Clips are opening up for him? Or would you, would you want to see Crime Up? That's hard. That's hard. Cause yeah, I'm a want to see Nuck If You Buck before anybody. Okay. Well, let's get into the main topics. Okay. So Diddy update. As of me taping this episode, which you guys know I typically tape Tuesday evening, it is 6:55 p.m. on a Tuesday as I tape this Pacific Standard Time, and there has been a partial verdict on counts 2 through 5. Although we don't know what the verdict is, they have reached a partial verdict on counts 2 through 5. And obviously count 1 is the RICO charge, right? That's the racketeering charge. And that is the one that they are having the most difficulty with. They are having a hard time coming to a unanimous verdict on count 1, as I said. And apparently Diddy was shown a note in the courtroom, and everybody on the news keep talking about this note and trying to describe like his reaction to the note, but don't nobody know what the note was. And this is why I'm like, why wouldn't they have cameras in the courtroom? Like, how is FX supposed to do a limited series starring Derek Luke as Diddy if we don't have the footage of what's happening in there, right? Am I the only one? I know the stenographer is typing out every single word said, right? I know that that's happening. I know the stenographer is taking their notes. I know the artist is doing that. I know there's the artist renderings of what's happening in the courtroom, right? But ain't nobody writing down like the jury's. I mean, ain't nobody, writing down the jury's expression or, it's just like, I just feel like, these are people's real lives. I am mindful of that, and I try to keep that in mind. And although somebody yelled at me online or somebody spoke to me very unreasonably, which happens all the time, I really am not like, ooh, I can't wait till he go to jail, or, oh my God, I don't want him to go to jail. Like I'm just like, I'm really interested in seeing how this plays out, But I was thinking, like, how does it work? Like, how does it work to like wait? Like, is he just at the prison in Brooklyn and then he just has to wait there until the full verdict comes in on all charges, all counts? And then they transport him to the courthouse. But I mean, then I thought about it. It's like, that don't make sense at all. Cause it's like, depending on what time of the day it is, you think you about to get from Brooklyn over the Brooklyn Bridge or the Manhattan Bridge or the Williamsburg Bridge during rush hour and get to the courthouse? No. So it makes sense. I found out that they actually keep him in a holding cell, at the courthouse. I can't even imagine, y'all. I cannot even imagine just waiting for 12 people to decide my fate, to decide what happens for the foreseeable future of my life. And I mean, I know that's basically what he's been dealing with this entire time, but I just feel like, when you get closer to it, when you get closer to the end, it's like, I would have IBS. Don't even take me to the bathroom. Come bring a bucket in here because I'm shitting. Yeah. Yep. Bring me 7 changes of pants and underwears and bring some wet wipes because I am shitting profusely. I am shitting here, there, everywhere there's a shit. I can't even control my nerves and my stomach right now. I am so sorry. I will be probably shitting and needing to get my bowels under control for the foreseeable future. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. And then everyone is reporting and talking about how they're trying to get this done before the 4th. And I'm like, if it was me, no. Don't rush. Don't rush. Whose song was that? Don't rush. Take all the time you need. This is my life. Also, why are people talking about the 4th like it's Christmas or Thanksgiving? I didn't know people had that much invested in having the 4th of July off. And somebody else yells at me in the comments. Oh, you supposed to, if you know anything about this country, you know you got right to celebrate. It's like, yo, you about to be blocked. Say one more thing and you getting blocked. But I didn't know people, it was just like, if I gotta have my 4th. I gotta get back to my family by the 4th of July. I gotta do the cookout. I gotta do the barbecue. We gotta go to the timeshare. We have, I didn't know. I don't know who it benefits for the jury to be rushed. I don't know if it benefits the prosecution or the defense. Obviously, if I was the defendant and it benefited me, I would be like, hurry it up, But I did realize, or rather, I don't know if this would be an epiphany. Maybe it ain't that. But I've been watching this. I've been having this on a constant. I've been watching ABC News live coverage, they stream in 24 hours a day. With so many people uploading videos. And I realized they have streaming channels dedicated to this Diddy show. I realized, and just the news period, I realized that years ago when I was a little kid, there was a reason why the news came on once in the morning. They gave you a midday update and then at 10 o'clock at night, because there ain't that much news. They just repeating the same thing over and over and over and over. Obviously, if something happens, we will have breaking news and we will interrupt your program and we will get you to breaking news. But really, we don't need reporting 24 hours a day. We really don't. I realized it because I was watching it via YouTube, and I realized, wait a second, I heard her say I thought I was having deja vu. I thought I was having deja vu or a slight stroke. I said, why? This lady said this already, right? Then I realized, they not reporting nothing. This is just a loop. We got to go back to morning news, midday news, and it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? I was also thinking, and it's the final thing I'll say in terms of Diddy this week. I was also thinking, after this verdict, right? Guilty or not guilty. Do my reasons, do you think that it is reasonable for Diddy to profit off of this entire ordeal? Do you think it's reasonable for him to put out a book? I mean, I imagine that this has cost him financially a lot. On top of the fact that we know he paid Cassie $30 million, right? So is it reasonable and I don't know if, depending on what the verdict is, I don't know if he could, OJ, and they're not the same, but OJ did come out with a book after he had a not guilty verdict, right? It was If I Did It, which was sometimes you just got to know when to sit down. It's have several seats. But yeah, do you guys think it's reasonable for Diddy to I don't know, maybe he want to do a reality show, Diddy after the trial, or does he want to come out with a tell-all book, Freak Offs, the real story, or Take That, if I could take it all back, or Bad Boy, I don't want to play no more. What y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, let me know. I'm really interested in what y'all think. Okay. The Idaho 4 killer, his name is Brian Coberger. Now, I'll be very honest with you. I have not talked about this at all on this show because, I don't be following white people crimes as closely. But if you don't know, this unfortunate event happened in Idaho. I'm not sure if it was last year. The 4 students at the University of Idaho were murdered, stabbed to death, 4 of them, and allegedly by him, a PhD student also at the school. And two things. I want to say something very interesting. I heard them being referred to as the Idaho 4 on the news. And then I heard someone speak on behalf of their loved ones saying that they really don't want them to be referred to as the Idaho 4. And I can't remember if they said why, but I know that when I went to do a little bit of, research online, I immediately typed in, because I didn't know his name and I didn't know their names. And so I typed in Idaho 4. And as much as all of the stories came up, all of the news articles came up, nothing ever said Idaho 4. And so then I just clicked and opened a new tab on my computer, and I put in the search tab Central Park 5. And when I put in the search tab Central Park 5, the AI review said the Central Park 5 refers to 5 Black and Latino teenagers, and it has all of their names written out, who were wrongly convicted in the 1989 Central Park jogger case. And I thought that was so interesting. This is why 2 things. One, obviously this Central Park 5 was a much bigger case to date than the Idaho 4, right? Respectfully, I'm not saying Idaho 4 to be, lacking respect for the lost lives of these 4 individuals, but so there's that, right? But there's just also racism. There's also just all of these prejudices and these inequalities that are even built into our artificial intelligence. And that is also the concern when we move into, digital age, when we move into a completely technological age. Like, that still doesn't remove any of the bias. If anything, it double downs, it further perpetuates it, right? And so as much as I put in Idaho 4 and it still gave me all the information I needed, it never referred to them as the Idaho 4. And so then I had to type in Idaho 4 refers to, because I wanted AI to give me the same review that it gave me when I didn't ask for an AI review. It could have just showed me the articles of the Central Park 5. It could have showed me everything, but it chose. AI has enough information where it's like, oh yeah, we call the Central Park 5, which even after it still hasn't even corrected itself, right? Because even after Ava DuVernay did the limited series on Netflix, it was requested that they now be referred to as the exonerated 5. And so if that is the case, then why didn't AI say, right? Why didn't it say to me when I put Central Park 5, why didn't it say it refers to and is now known as the exonerated 5? It didn't do that. And so I typed in Idaho 4 refers to, because I wanted to see what the AI overview would be for that. And it says the term Idaho 4 refers to the 4 University of Idaho students who were tragically killed in November 2022. Oh, I didn't even realize it was that long ago. 2022. The incident occurred in an off-campus house. Obviously, it says their names as well. An off-campus house in Moscow, Idaho, and garnered national attention. Now, obviously, I'm not trying to push like Idaho 4 to go against the wishes of the victims' loved ones. I am just pointing this out to show, even in our search engines, even in our technological advances, there's still very real injustices happen in terms of in terms of narratives that are presented. Okay, so now let's get into the 4 victims of Brian Coberger, alleged victims of Brian Coberger. So his trial was supposed to start a month from now. And apparently he struck a deal with the prosecution. He pled guilty to 4 counts of murder. He is going to spend life. The deal says that he will spend life in prison for all 4 counts, life in prison without parole, without any eligibility for parole, to be served consecutively. So not concurrently, right? For all my people who ain't been in math for 20, 30 years or was never really good at math. Consecutively. So one after the other, right? And when I heard that, I was like, where's the deal? Not that I at all want him to have a deal. I'm just saying, where's the deal? That sound like if he would have went to trial and they found him guilty, then you get 4 consecutive, life sentences. You get 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. That don't sound like a deal, right? But then as I continued to listen to this news on a loop, I realized the death penalty was on the table. And now with the plea, the death penalty is the thing that got removed from the table. So essentially, he'd still be spending his entire life in prison. I mean, unless at some point human beings were able to live until they're 150 years old or more, and somehow they, gave access to that ability to prisoners. But yeah, he'd serve the rest of his life in prison with no possibility of parole, but he'd live it out, unless somebody, I guess, offed him in prison. But yeah, so it was the death penalty, I guess, that he was trying to avoid. And then, of course, in my dramatic thinking and me and my ability to go deep down a rabbit hole, I was like, but if you're going to be in jail, he was a PhD student. I don't know how old he is, but he don't look like he 40. How old is he? Let's see. He's 30. He's 30 years old. So it's like, you about to spend the rest of your life in prison. Why not just be like, I could get up out of here. It's like, if you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison, and why not be like, yeah, I could get up out of here. But then I remember people get pardoned, laws change, things change. And as long as you have life, regardless of how limited or prisoned that life is, as long as you have life, there's always possibility for some sort of change. There's always possibility for who knows? We might get a president far crazier than the one we have now. That's just like, nope, murders committed before 2025 are not actually murders. And so I'm going to let everybody, who knows? Anything could change. Maybe he'll break out of prison. I hope none of this happens. Don't nobody want to murder on the loose, right? But that's, I guess, that's the upside. The loved ones of the victims, they are petitioning the court to not accept his plea. Typically, a judge will accept the plea like this. And of course, it's in the prosecution's interest to get a guilty verdict, right? There's no guarantee that if you take it to trial, anything can happen at trial, anything. And so it's no guarantee. So it's their job. It's not really their job. They want to bring peace to the victims. They want to do right by the victims, but it ain't really their job to do what the victims want them to do. It's their job to get a conviction. And also it saves a lot of taxpayer money if they don't have to go through with a trial, But anyway, the loved ones of the 4 victims are petitioning the court. And some of them are petitioning the court we want to see him die. I guess in Ohio, the death penalty, the way they do it is you get shot. You get shot. And so I guess some of them are I really need to see that. For my own closure, I really need to see that. I need him to be taken out of this world now immediately. And some of the loved ones, a good amount of the loved ones, as it's been reported, they don't want him. They want a trial because they believe that they will get answers through via the trial, meaning they'll have a better understanding of why, how, when, what was the point, the reality is you may not get that in trial, right? Because just as we seen in the Diddy trial, and please don't conflate the two. They are not the same. They are not similar. But they can be similar in a sense that the defendant does not even have to take the stand. I feel like you get more information in a plea deal because maybe part of the plea, maybe part of entering a guilty verdict is, according to the TV show Law and Order, they be having to explain a crime. They be having to explain how they did it. And you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. He may not have to do that, but you still may not get the why. And then if you go to trial, he may not take the stand. So and then you draw it out and you still may not have the closure. I have never been in this situation. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. But I ask you guys, do you think it's reasonable for the judge to not accept the plea and take it to trial? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, please. Okay, now the main topic. Brandy and Monica and Kelly. Yes. Okay, so it was announced last week that Brandy and Monica are co-headlining an arena tour. And who's not happy about that, right? Ray J finally did something right. He started a legit rumor and it came to fruition, right? And I shouldn't even say and obviously, once it's announced, you have that unreasonable part of the internet that feeds off of divisiveness and only divisiveness. So immediately the videos start going up on social media. Oh, I'm going to the show for Brandy. Brandy is the reason that these tickets are selling. Oh, well, I'm only here for let me just say I am excited for both of them, okay? I would like to get to know if I could be the kind of girl that you could be down for. But when I look at you, y'all know I don't be knowing all the words to nothing. I want to take some time out to think things through. I know it always feels like I'm doing you wrong, but I'm so in love with you. I still, to this day, don't know. Is that song about her period? I always thought it was it's just one of them days I got cramps. And so I know you think that I'm not messing with you. I know you think I'll be yelling at you and stuff like that. But really, I got cramps. And I just want cookies and cream ice cream. And I don't like cookies. I don't like cream. And I got a lactose intolerance. Baby, that's why I love you so much. I love only you. For you, I will lay my life on the line. Yo, the way they both have so many hits. Oh my God, I got to get tickets to this show. So gone over you. New Monica, silly of me, devoted so much time to find you unfaithful boy. I nearly lost my mind. Y'all know I'm tone deaf. I can't stay on key. I'm rhythmless. Oh my God. But guess what? I'm going to be at that concert. I got to look at these dates. As soon as I'm done taping this podcast, I'm getting me some tickets to the Brandy and Monica concert. You should have known better than to think I would leave. You should have known better than to... And of course, the boy is mine, 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 the boy is mine. Hey, do you know? Yeah, I know his name. You know his name. Here we are face to face with the memories that can be erased. Although we need each other, things have changed. It's not the same the way I'ma be at this concert. Have you ever loved somebody so much it makes you cry? Have you ever needed something so bad you can't sleep at night? Have you ever tried to find the words? Damn, I'm really off key, rhythm, pitch, everything. How can one be down? Tell me where to start. 'Cause every time you smile, I feel trembles in my heart. I have but one concern, that at me and you till my day comes. Here's what I'm gonna do. Sitting up in my... Brandy could sing the whole Waiting to Exhale soundtrack if she want to. Though I'm missing you, although I'll find a way to get the... This song makes me so emotional. I'll find a way to get through living without you. 'Cause you are... I hope that YouTube recognizes that this ain't really copyright infringement. Top of the world, top of the world, top of the world. But then, in what some would call a plot twist, it was announced that Kelly Rowland would be their opener. Not just Kelly Rowland, actually. Kelly Rowland, Money Long, and Jamal Roberts. But nobody got mad about Money Long. I don't know if people know who Jamal Roberts is. Respectfully, Jamal Roberts, I look forward to seeing you at the show and finding out who you are and loving you after I experience you. But, people were so mad. People were so... Again, just negative. When it was announced that Kelly Rowland of Destiny's Child is opening up for Brandy and Monica, people were so negative. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Sometimes I read comments because I shouldn't have been surprised, because I'm going to be very honest with y'all. You know, I'm talking about like how divisive the internet can be and how negative it can be. And like, that's part of why I do this podcast, right? Because I am also a user of the internet, and a lot of things that I experience by way of the internet, I'm like, dang, this is so unreasonable. What could we do to be more? That's the whole point. That was what started this, right? That there's these big social reactions that just didn't seem reasonable to me, and this is one of them. I mean, y'all know, I try not to really give it attention or complain about it, but I read comments every day. I be like, yikes. Oh my God. Yeah, we ain't never going to have world peace, because people are dumb. People are dumb. People are ignorant. People are negative. People are jealous. People are hate-filled. People are joyless. Did I ever tell y'all, I don't know if I told y'all this, but one of my elective courses in college was philosophy. I took Philosophy 101 and I loved it. I loved philosophy. Now, if you know anything about philosophy or have taken Philosophy 101, an intro to philosophy in, college, you know that the central topic to philosophy is the question of God's existence, right? And usually the philosophers that they cover in Intro to Philosophy are Socrates, Plato's, Augustine, and Descartes. I'm sure Aristotle, I'm sure there's others, but those are the ones that I remember. Descartes specifically I remember because Descartes was also a mathematician and responsible for the XY axis, right? And I just, at the time I was a education and math major. And so that just information just stayed with me. And I never really thought about philosophers also being like mathematicians, right? But there's obviously overlapping, right? But I remember when I took that class, it was so fascinating to me. And again, kind of like disheartening, because I learned, or rather experienced at a very young age, right? Like I'm like maybe 19, 20 or something, 21 maybe, that this was sort of later. And so I'm probably like 21, 22. people could not really get past what they believed. Our major assignment, right, that most of our grade was based on, was we had to use theories. We had to use the philosophers' theories. We had to use their theory. Now, see, this is easy for me because in math, it's also theory, right? Anyway, so maybe that's why I didn't have a hard time with it. Although I'm very deeply rooted in my faith, especially at this time, I had just I didn't like take Shahada. I didn't need to do, I never was not Muslim, but I sort of like began my practice as an adult, my practice as a Muslim, my practice of Islam as an adult, like without my parents telling me I had to do it. And so I was very much spiritual. You know, I had just been hit by a truck, a drunk driver. I was very, very like, you know, my life, I'm only here because Allah has allowed me to be here, right? And Allah has made it so that I'm able to still learn and walk, but all of those things. I mean, I'm like it's heavy at this time. But I didn't have a hard time doing the assignment. I actually loved doing the assignment because I didn't have to tap into what I believed. The information was right there. This philosopher believes this philosopher has this theory, this philosopher has this theory, this philosopher has this theory. And so you want me to either prove or disprove that there is a God or there isn't a God using these theories. Let me tell y'all, the way I left that class with an A+, and the way I watched 95% of that class, and it was only about 60 people in the class, the way I watched about 95% of those students unable to complete the assignment because they couldn't get past their belief in God. Arguing. I'm telling you, the day when we would have discussions, I remember sitting there like for the first time in my life recognizing like, oh, this is the problem in the world. You ain't gonna be able to say nothing to this person. Their whole life is the belief that Jesus, and this is no shade to Jesus or Christians or anything, but that Jesus died on a cross for their sins, and they can't even come outside of that belief to, like, what's something that I would probably never do? I don't know. Something I believe I would never do. I could still it's the hypothetical. They were unable to take science and present hypothetical. They were unable to do it. And I was like, oh, and all of these people are people in the world. And they're the ones that you have to interact with. They're the ones that you are going to encounter in service positions. They're the ones that you are going to have to encounter when you go to the DMV. These are the people that will be teaching your children. These are the people that you will be driving on a road with, riding on a train with. These are the people that will also go in a voting booth on voting day. These are the people. Oh, whew. Well, let me go ahead, get this A+. Let me let me use all these theories, do the assignment, and then let me go ahead and make me some salat because I'm going to need prayer to be in this world with these people. I say all that to say, the internet is a constant reminder of that. Just the lack of reason, just the blatant, excessive lack of reason. The internet was like, how dare Kelly Rowland, Grammy award-winning member of the iconic Destiny's Child, how dare that Kelly Rowland? And I always say, Kelly Rowland, if Beyonce die, Kelly got to take over. But we have since learned that no, Beyonce put she put a fail-safe in. If Beyonce go missing and Blue Ivy takes over. Basically, a unanimous response that I saw via socials was that Kelly is too good too good to be opening up for Brandy and Monica. And honestly, I don't know who that is more insulting to, Kelly or Brandy and Monica. This is obviously respectfully to Kelly Rowland, because Kelly Rowland should be protected at all costs. Like, but Kelly Rowland is not selling out. Forget selling out. She is not selling an arena tour. I'm not saying that she won't ever be able to. I'm not saying that as a member of Destiny's Child, she didn't do it in the past. But currently, she's not. I don't think as a solo artist, she's ever been in a position to do that. Unfortunately, I'm not even sure if that's what she probably does want that, because, we all want to be the best of the best. But she, that just hasn't been her career, right? And it's my personal opinion that Kelly has done a fantastic job of diversifying her professional portfolio. It seems like Kelly Rowland has a wonderful husband, like personal life, like her husband, I'm not sure if she has one or two kids, but it seems like she has a seemingly healthy personal life. She's a good actor. She does like clothing collaborations and fitness collaborations. She releases her own music that does chart, that does do well at times. And she always responds so eloquently when some rabbit-ass, bird-ass interviewer is trying to compare her or insult her by saying she's second fiddle to Beyonce. But also, the thing that I think people aren't considering is, yes, without a doubt, Kelly was a very important member, right? She number 2, a Destiny's Child. She number 2. Now we know who number 1 is. Y'all could argue over who 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Y'all could argue over that. But what they'll never argue is Kelly number 2. Yes, she had one of the most iconic, best careers as part of Destiny's Child. But she has not had that same success as a solo artist. And the success that she has had as a solo artist comes nowhere close to the success that Brandy and Monica have both had as solo artists. On top of the fact that when Kelly Rowland, along with the other members, were still back in Texas performing at talent shows with Girl Time, they ain't even become Destiny's Children yet. When she was still performing in talent shows and on Star Search, the big superstars that were out, the huge superstars that were out doing exactly what she aspired to do was Brandy and Monica. So, I don't know, but I would imagine that Kelly Rowland is thrilled. I would imagine that she is thrilled to be working with not one, but 2 of the women that paved the way for her very career. Then somebody said, and then the people, the real dummies. At least open for Beyonce. Why? It's like that's so insulting to Monica and Brandy. And I think people forget. Do y'all want me to sing again? And that was 10% of their hits. Also, Beyonce don't have openers. And if Beyonce ever decides to have openers, you know what I'm saying? She done already made Beyonce's kids with Blue Ivy and Rumi. Okay? Oh, and the last thing that I didn't say that to me is super obvious. Obviously, Kelly likes to work. Kelly is a musician. She's a singer. She's an artist. She likes to perform. Why wouldn't she want to perform in an arena with women that she likes, that she admires, that at some point she may have looked up to? Why wouldn't she want to do that? On top of the fact it gives her a check. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about celebrities. Here's the thing about what the public does to celebrities, right? Y'all like to dictate when and where and how they work. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so you want Kelly to not have no money? And then when Kelly don't go on tour with Monica and Brandy, and then she don't got no money, and her house is in foreclosure, then y'all gonna be like, oh, well, I mean, what's she doing? Was she waiting on Beyonce to do something for her? It's like at the end of the day, it is work. And might I add, it's good work. So I ask you guys, do you, my reasons, think that it is reasonable for Kelly Rowland to open up for Brandy and Monica on the Boy Is Mine, the Boy Is Mine, the Boy Is Mine arena tour? Let me know. There is no Ask Z this week. So, yeah. But if you want to submit an Ask Z, if you want to ask a question that I can hopefully answer, make sure you guys email Zainab Comedy VIP, Zainab Comedy VIP at Gmail. I always love answering Ask Z's, but I only answer them when I get them. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning into I'm Reasonable. I will see you guys, I don't know what, probably like 2 weeks from now or something, I think. But yeah, until then, stay reasonable.